Now, the window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter on 1010XL from Island Girl Cigar Bar on Gate Parkway. Presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings. Here are your hosts Ryan the Hacker Green, Leon Searcy, and Coach Campo.
They send 5. They blitz here. Max hangs in and fires it deep downfield. There's a miscommunication, and that ball is going to be intercepted. That ball is intercepted by Cameron Bynum. Mack took a shot at the end zone. Gabe Davis ran it more to the middle of the field. Mack threw it along the far sideline. Bynum tracked it down and intercepted it in the end zone to end the hopes for the Jaguars.
Frank Frangie on the call, Jaguars Radio, and with that, a very good Sunday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is the window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter. We are presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings live at Island Girls Cigar Bar in Gate Parkway with the head coach Dave Campo. The Pro Bowler Leon Searcy will be joining us momentarily. And coach, today down at Everbank Stadium, the Jacksonville Jaguars fall to 2-8, a 12-7. Lost to the Minnesota Vikings. The Jaguars lost a game today in which the defense did not allow a touchdown. The Jaguars lost a game today in which they forced not one, not two, but 3 Sam Darnold interceptions. And in the end, none of it mattered as the offense was as inept as you've ever seen it. And the Jaguars now have lost 13 out of 16 dating back to last year. And they have lost 80% of their ball games now in 2024.
Well, I'm going to start with a positive.
I would love to hear a positive.
I'm a defensive coach. I like those defensive games. The fans don't like it. The league doesn't like it, but I like it. Unfortunately, we're just not a very good football team right now. Although, we're always talking about can't the coaches do something that, give us a chance to win the football game. I thought the defensive coaches have the last couple of weeks of, deciding that, look, we're not going to give up the big play. And especially today, when you don't and you get into the red zone and you play as well as they did in the red zone and get the interceptions, you're at least in the ball game. Now, obviously, offensively, we didn't come, close to winning the darn thing, but we were in the football game.
Take us inside the locker room when one side of the ball plays as well as the defense does. They get absolutely no help from the offense, and they lose the game. You saw frustration boiling over at the end with Trayvon Walker. I mean, is that an awkward locker room right now?
Well, I think the 2-8 is probably more than whether or not one side's doing something that the other side isn't doing. I spent a lot of time, as an assistant coach. I was only a head coach for 3 years, and from a defensive standpoint, every time we started a week off, we said, guys, there's only one thing we can control, and that's what we do. What the offense does is immaterial. If we lose as a football team, but all we can do is if they don't score, we don't win. If they don't score, we win.
Right.
Excuse me. Yeah, and so, my whole thing has always been, I think Leon as a player is a little bit more in tune to what those guys go through. You know what I mean? I look at it from a whole picture, whereas he's got, I'm sure there have been some individual guys doing some bitching. And really, in all honesty, Trayvon Walker let it boil over today. I think that was a little bit of, we can't do any more than we did. But at the same time, it's, they did hold on to they did keep us from having the ball. We had the ball for 42 minutes, so there's going to be a little bit of frustration.
What's interesting is Brian Thomas, all right, last week, 4 targets for Brian Thomas, 4. This week, we talked all week, get Brian Thomas the ball. Get him the ball. And what did the Jacksonville Jaguars do today? He had less targets than he did a week ago. 3 targets today. He did not touch the ball until the fourth quarter. Again, that's indefensible. I mean, do you have an explanation for that?
Well, first of all, he was open on the last play that the long interception, that they threw over he threw over Gabe Davis. He was open. So some of it is, the quarterback has to make a decision that I'm going to get the ball to the guy sometimes, right? But at the same time, until I see the all 22, Doug said something last week, which we talked about on the show. He said he was getting double covered all the time. Well, he wasn't. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's coach talk, right? Well, I don't know if he was getting double all the time today, but I did see some where they were rolling to him, so again, until I see the 22, I don't know how much he's open, to be honest with you. I will say this, though. You have to be able to do something. You have to be able offensively to say, okay, we're not really great, but these 2 or 3 things we can do, and we're going to make sure we do them. And I'm not sure that Thomas shouldn't be one of those. Get him the football. Whether you could throw him 4 quick screens out there. So what? He gets tackled one time, but he might run for about 25 yards on one of them. So I think it's really not. Things are not going well offensively. I can tell you that right now.
Phone lines are open. 641-1010 is the phone number. If you want to get involved in the 5th quarter, you are more than welcome to do so. 641-1010. Mac Jones today in for Trevor Lawrence, 14 of 22 for 111 yards and 2 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 38.3. He did have the 1 quarterback sneak for a rushing touchdown. The entire offense looked absolutely horrific. And look, I mean, there's going to be a lot to discuss in regards to the future of Doug Peterson, the future of Press Taylor, the future of Trent Baalke, and we'll get to that here later on. But for the here and now, let's talk about the players. And again, backup quarterback, I get, not having Trevor Lawrence, understood, but there are a lot of teams that have backup quarterbacks that find ways to win games. Tennessee found a way to win a game with Mason Rudolph last week. Pittsburgh found ways to win with Justin Fields. I mean, there are a lot of teams that have to figure it out. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, not only didn't they figure it out, but they looked absolutely putrid in their thought process today.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing from the standpoint that you got to find something that you can do. And I don't see us doing that a whole lot. It's almost like it's just, okay, we're going to try this, we're going to try that.
You're throwing stuff against the wall.
Yeah, you go into a ball game saying, okay, we can't run off tackle here, but I know we can get to the perimeter or whatever it is. Something's got to be there, and you got to try to exploit that. And I don't see us doing that. So I don't know. I mean, it's easy for us to look and say, oh, this is going on. We really don't know what's going on in that locker room. We don't know what's going on in those coaching meetings. So, to me, when you get 143 yards in an NFL game, things are not going well.
A week after not getting a first down for 20 minutes of game action.
Yeah. Now, on the reverse of that, though, that defense from Minnesota only gave up 6 points, I think, offensively last week with the Colts. And I think the Colts have got a pretty good offense. So, hey, you got to play that day, and we're not playing very well. That's all there is to it.
You want to talk about the ineptitude here in Jacksonville from the general manager to the head coach on down. Kevin O'Connell is in year 3 in Minneapolis, just like Doug Peterson is in year 3 here. And look at all the free agent investments that made plays for Minnesota today.
Right.
From Van Ginkel, they make the trade for Hawkinson. Grenard, the Jaguars couldn't block Grenard at points last year. The Vikings spent big money on him. Sam Darnold was a free agent. Aaron Jones was a free agent. I mean, you're just rattling off guy after guy after guy after guy that the Vikings brought in that are helping that football team. And here in Jacksonville, that's just simply not happening.
Well, first of all, let me just go back to what you just said a minute ago about, what do you do? They opened up. They threw 2 bootlegs to Strange for good yardage.
Yeah.
He got 25 yards. They never came back to it.
No.
They never came back to it in the second half. Now, that, to me, is where you're not taking advantage of something that you got a pretty good opportunity to get, because the one thing about their defense, Minnesota's, is they're running. They're going to get themselves in a position where you can beat them with bootlegs and a little bit of showing one way and going the other way. So I don't know why they didn't come back to it.
It did not look like a good day at the office today for the offensive line either. They looked like they struggled in a big way. I mean, it was a failure across the board on offense, and this is a trend that you're seeing. And look, again, I understand that Trevor Lawrence didn't play, but let's not confuse things here. They were 2-7 with Trevor, as I mentioned earlier. So there have been plenty of games where it didn't look good with Trevor in there, and it really didn't look good with Mac in there. And I feel bad for the home crowd again. There's a lot of people probably still down at the stadium or coming home that are listening to us right now. I mean, this happens all the time. You go back to last year, Kansas City, San Francisco, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Houston. This year, Green Bay, Minnesota, Cleveland. The Jaguars do not win at home. Well, and not only do they don't win at home, they look awful at times. That San Francisco game last year was awful. Cleveland this year, awful. Minnesota today, awful. I mean, the home crowd gets to see the worst of the Jaguars seemingly every time they play here.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. I mean, I don't know. Again, all I can say is that when the crowd gets to the point where they stop coming to the games, that's when an owner makes a decision to make moves within the organization. Mm-hmm. Unless it's just one of those things where there's no loyalty. You know what I mean? If there's loyalty, then you can let it go a little bit like they stuck with Marone or whatever for a pretty long time, right?
Yeah. Well, that's been Shad's flaws. He stuck with guys too long.
Exactly. So I don't see him doing anything unless that crowd, just like you're talking about, is sick and tired of seeing bad football at home.
Well, they're 2-8. They got 3 home games to go. If you don't do anything, I don't know if anything's going to be done. I can tell you this. I'm not exactly a body language expert, but seeing Doug shake Kevin O'Connell's hand at the end of the game was kind of interesting, like a guy that kind of knows the writings on the wall. I know Doug apparently got into it with some of our colleagues in the local media. He was asked about the final pick and what was supposed to happen there, and he said something along the lines of, well, you guys wouldn't know anyway, or you guys wouldn't be able to know anyway. Again, man, you're 3-13 in your last 16 games as a Jaguar head coach, all right? It is fair for you to be questioned. In fact, your best year at Philadelphia, I don't even know if you had double-digit wins, right? I mean, he's gone from 9-8 to 9-8 to 2-8. He's 3-13 in the last 16. Don't get testy with the media when they're questioning what's going on here, because what's going on here is you're losing every single week.
Yeah, it's really a catch-22 because you're signing your own death warrant when it gets to that point, and frustration is very, very difficult. I've been there. I understand what frustration is. You just, even, we're saying the defense played okay because they gave up field goals with turnovers. That's how they gave up just field goals. Mm-hmm. That they stopped opportunities, right? They played good in the red zone. But listen, they had a 17-play drive.
Yeah.
Where
they kept doing this. No, the Hawkinson, you talked about this earlier. On that 17-play drive, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, they kept throwing it to the same guy.
Right.
Every play. Now, look, again, I'm never going to be confused for a defensive coordinator, and I'm not going to criticize Ryan Nielsen because the defensive game plan today was spot on. With the possible exception of, I don't know, every time on 3rd down, make somebody other than T.J. Hawkinson catch the ball? That was ridiculous.
It seemed like that, but really, they were only 5 of whatever on 3rd down. It was 1st and 2nd down they were getting it.
Oh, you're right. I got the stats right here. So here are your stats for today. This looks like a high school stat line. A good high school team against an inferior high school team. 82 plays to 43.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings ran 82 plays. Jacksonville ran 43. Total yardage, Minnesota 402, Jacksonville 143. Passing yardage, Minnesota 233, Jacksonville 87. Rushing yardage, Minnesota 169, Jacksonville 56. How on earth this was only a 12-7 game is beyond me. Yeah. I mean, that is a dominating stat line for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. We would have had a chance to win this game if we didn't turn the ball over at the end of the game.
Yeah.
but
twice actually. They turned it over twice.
Yeah. Well, I think we turned it over 3 times within 8 minutes.
It was
something.
pretty impressive.
It was ugly. But my point is that really we were in the football game right to the end. But when you look at that stat line, if we hadn't gotten the turnovers when we did, it would have been ugly. It would have been 28-7 or whatever. We got them in the red zone, which is fantastic. That's what you do. I've always felt that once you got inside the red zone, you win on defense. That's everything's constricted. If you have to throw the ball down there, you got a chance to get it intercepted, and that's what we did. Now, they didn't run the football effectively in there. That's their fault. They made that mistake.
Well, I know this. You combine Jacksonville, Florida, and Florida State. By the way, the Seminoles have fired like every assistant that they have in the last 30 minutes. Seminole fans, if you missed that. 7-22 is the record in 2024 here in North Florida, combined for the Gators, the Seminoles, and the Jaguars. 7 wins and 22 losses. We got loaded phone lines. We'll get right to you. 641-1010. Island Girls Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway is our location. This is kind of mine and Leon's home away from home. We love it up here at Island Girls Cigar Bar. Come on out, have a cigar, enjoy the show. We'll be out here with you till 8 o'clock on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. To the phone lines we go with the head coach, Dave Campo. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green, and the former mayor of Jacksonville. Our friend Lenny Curry is on with us here on 1010XL. Lenny, how are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Oh, Lenny, if I was any better, I just don't know what I'd do.
I shouldn't have asked. I have one question, and I'll take the answer off the air. But based on what you just said, I have to remind people that I'm a graduate of the University of Florida. I have a son at Florida State and a lifelong Jag fan. So that tells you everything you need to know about my state of mind right now.
Rough year, Mayor.
It's
year.
football hell right now is what we're in North Florida.
So here's my question. I'll take off the air because you guys have plenty of callers. Why didn't they take any shots down the field earlier with Mac Jones? Just, air it out and see what happens. Kind of put the defense on, we're going to try this. That's my question. Appreciate you guys.
Lenny, appreciate it. I would say probably because Press Taylor is the offensive coordinator would be my assumption because they never throw the ball downfield.
Well, I look at it this way. I think they went into the ball game saying, okay, defensively, we're gonna bend but don't break. We're not going to allow the big play, and we're gonna try to do something when we get inside the 20, and that's what they did. Offensively, I think they went into the game and said, look, we're not going to turn the ball over. We're going to take a profit. We're going to dump the ball down. We're going to run the football. We're going to do all these things. And they didn't work. And then they never had the ball. In other words, when you look at it, a 17 – look, I've got the thing right in front of me. They had a 10-play drive and a 17-play drive. Our defense, the first 3 drives, 2 of them, one was 10 and one was 17. So I think when that's all, when that's the way it is, and the game is close, Mayor, that's when you kind of go back to more conservative in that situation, which is unfortunate.
Again, 143 yards of offense in an NFL football game is an embarrassment. There's no other way to say it. It's an absolute embarrassment. And, you can get as testy with us as you want, Doug Peterson, and you can say, well, you guys wouldn't understand anyway. You know what I do understand? Let me tell you what I do understand. And I'm getting mad just thinking about it. Here's what I understand, all right? I understand that in the last 16 games that you've been the Jacksonville Jaguar head coach, you've lost 13 of them. And the teams you beat in the last 16 games were a Carolina team that might as well have been a high school team at the end of last year. You beat a New England team with a rookie quarterback making his second start in London, England. And you beat an Indianapolis team who didn't have Jonathan Taylor and started Joe Flacco. Those are your 3 wins in the last 16 times that you have implemented a game plan to try to win a football game for the fans of this city. So don't get with us about you guys wouldn't understand what we're talking about anyway. Maybe you don't understand what you're doing because you're 3-13 in the last 16, and it's absolutely unacceptable. Back to the phone lines we go. Let's go to Fleming Island. Let's get Kevin in here on the 5th quarter on 1010X. Kevin dropped. All right, we got Junior up in Buffalo. Let's go to Junior here on 1010XL. Junior, what's going on?
Hey, guys. Leave it to the Jaguars to keep on being worse and worse than anybody else. I got 2 games in a row that you got 1 first down in the first quarter, and look what happened in this game today. And I agree with you. Hack. Buck Peterson doesn't deserve to say that to us. What I learned when I know about this is that this team has a bad general manager who can't get the right talent. That's been going on since you got on the air in 2011 and further. We had bad general managers. We can't hold our draft picks, and we even get bad draft picks. This team doesn't know how to keep talent. They don't know how to bring talent to this team, to this game. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch that 143 yards. That's pathetic. That's totally pathetic for a professional football team to do that in a game. That's just. I can't believe they did that. The defense, I give my hats off to the defense. They played and didn't break, but those guys gave it all. They gave it all, and there's plays where your offensive line didn't do their job. Our backs didn't even pick up the blocks on blitzes. It's all terrible.
Junior, appreciate the phone call. Junior's fired up. He has every reason to be fired up. And that's the thing, Coach. When we start this program every week here, you can pinpoint usually one or two things that went wrong on one side of the ball. Everything was wrong on offense. The offensive line wasn't any good. The receivers weren't getting open. Mac Jones wasn't any good. The running backs really didn't run the ball very hard. The Bigsby, Anton Harrison, they've been teammates now for 2 years. You can't figure out who to block. It's just, if you don't laugh about it, you'll cry about it.
I know. That's why I'm kind of, everything I'm saying is a little bit of a chuckle because it is ugly. And I'll tell you, I text out to somebody. I don't even know who I was texting to. I was so mad when that one guy came clean when
that's what Van Ginkel, kill our quarterback.
And I said, you know what, Mac Jones ought to go right over to both of those guys and punch them right in the face.
Yeah.
He wasn't very happy.
No.
He went over there and got after him pretty good, I think.
He shouldn't be happy. You cannot let a defensive end that's lined up in the line of scrimmage, just nobody blocked him. No one blocked him.
Well, they're both standing right there. It's ridiculous. There were a couple of those. So.
All right, back to the phone lines we go. 641-1010. Let's go to who we got here? Let's go to Doug in Jacksonville Beach. Doug, what do you got?
Hey, nice to talk to you, Coach. I see Leon's a little missing. He's probably upset like we all are, and doesn't want to say much. And Skinny Hack, appreciate you guys taking the bullets week after week for all of us. Anyhow, I just want to make sure that just like all the players know, they're going to hear the same thing from Coach Peterson. We got to execute better. We're going to have to clean up these mistakes. The coaches need to coach better. The players need to play better. We're going to hear the same thing week after week after week. And this
You're
is
not going to hear it too many more weeks. You guys aren't that bad. Yeah, I don't think you're going to hear it too many more.
You guys are not that bad. You guys are not even close to bad as any other media in football against this team, and it's just ridiculous. I take the comments off the air. I just feel, this stinks.
Doug, appreciate it. I'll defend Doug in this regard, Doug Peterson. I don't like when he gets testy with the media. I understand the frustration. He has to speak at a certain – you have the NFL mandates that you talk to the media 3 times a week, right? What are you going to say? The team sucks. It's awful. It's DEFCON 5. We've crashed into the mountain. The offense can't do anything right. It's horrifically bad. Everybody knows what the end game is here. Everybody knows where this is headed. It's going to be a complete cleaning of the house of the coaching staff and probably the general manager. Amazingly, there are still 7 games to go. This is a nightmare right now. And I don't know. It's our job to try to put a positive spin on things. And, Coach, I don't really know how to put a positive spin on this.
Yeah,
we are in a football nightmare with the Jaguars right now.
Well, that's correct. I'm pretty positive most of the time, but when you go 3 and whatever it is,
they're 3 and 13 in their last 16 games.
3 and 13 out of the last year, and this year it gets to the point where it's like you said, if you didn't laugh, you'd cry.
Yeah.
And we're at that point right now. You look at this thing, and the easy thing to say is that that's the 6th game we've been in within 5 points of winning the football game. Well, that's the NFL. I mean, when it really comes down to it, most of the games that you see very few blowouts in this league. It's going to come down to the last couple drives, and we haven't been able to execute when it gets to that point. And unfortunately, the frustration sets in with the coaching staff. I will say this. You ask, what do you do? I've been there where at the end of the season, I knew I was probably fired, okay? And when I went in the locker room, I made it a point to make sure that everybody understood that you are professional athletes and you should be playing your tails off right to the end, no matter what. And I think defensively we did today. I don't know about the offense. It just looks discombobulated, and it's backup quarterback, not many reps. I mean, there's a lot of things, I guess.
I got no problem with the defense. And Trayvon Walker showed some frustration at the end of the game, and right on. Good for him. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys did everything they possibly could to win this game, and the offense did nothing to help them. I mean, you score that touchdown, the opening touchdown in the first quarter with like 5 minutes to go. So that means for the next 50 minutes, the offense gained less than 100 yards.
Right.
It just absolutely ridiculous. Window World of Northeast Florida brings you the fifth quarter. We're presented by Von Rowan Law, Hurricane Grill and Wings. We're live at Island Girls Cigar Bar. That is our location on Gate Parkway. We'll be out here till 8 o'clock. We'll commiserate the loss. Pretty good Sunday night football game. I'm going to stick around, have a smoke after the game, watch a little Houston and Detroit. We can game plan for that beating that's coming up in 7 days when the Detroit Lions just are absolutely going to beat the tar out of the Jaguars. So we're already looking forward to that 7 days from now. But Island Girls Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway is our location. Coming up, we're going to give out an offensive player of the game, Coach. This was a job. Sometimes I get paid the big bucks here on 1010XL, and I got to figure some things out. It's my responsibility, and I had to really dig to figure out who this week's offensive player of the game is going to be. But we figured it out. More of your phone calls as well as let's console each other. The Jaguars 2-8, and ladies and gentlemen of Northeast Florida, it is a tradition here on the fifth quarter that I tell you that now with today's loss, since the start of the 2012 season, which is the year Shad Khan purchased the Jaguars, they have played 205 regular season games. They've won 62 of those, and they've lost 143 of those 205 games. Back on the fifth quarter, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Huddle up at Hurricane Grill and Wings, where every day is game day. From their famous wings to refreshing new cocktails, serving up the flavors you crave. And score big with awesome happy hour deals. It's the perfect spot to catch all the football action while enjoying your food faves, cocktails, and beer. Don't miss out. Grab your friends and family and swing by Hurricane Grill and Wings and see what everyone's cheering about. Find the restaurant nearest you at hurricanewings.com.
Bull riding. The perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the Michelob Ultra PBR Jacksonville at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, February 22nd and 23rd. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
Hey, Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores.
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com. It's a force that can't be contained, propelled by purpose, pride, and the power to protect. When winning isn't just the mission, it's your passion. You pursue it.
You make power plays.
Aim for fences and go for end zones. You believe that your moment is now. At Farrah and Farrah, we deliver game day energy 24/7.
If you've been injured, put our force to work for you. Jacksonville.
Break in the savings this fall with Universal Roof and Contracting. Enjoy 15% off all roof repairs and replacements, plus a free wind mitigation inspection. With financing options as low as $115 a month, protecting your home has never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP. Offer expires November 30th. Protect your home and your wallet.
License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Bold City AC. Heating that rules.
Is your AC ready for the holidays? Bold City Heating and Air ensures your AC stays in tip-top shape. We know that a clean AC is a healthy AC. Upgrade yours for just $96 a month and enjoy free duct cleanings with your new system. Plus, ask about our 0% financing options.
Bold City AC. We got the crew. Bold City AC.
Visit boldcityac.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, the window world of Northeast Florida, fifth quarter.
From Island Girls Cigar Bar on Gate Parkway.
Presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings on 1010XL.
Jones, the running back, Darnold drops. Looking, fires right side to the corner. That ball is intercepted. Darnell Savage picked it off near the goal line, running it back 15-yard line to the 20-yard line. He's got it to the 25-yard line. A flag comes in on the return. He gets drilled out of bounds. That's going to cost the Vikings. He was 3 yards out of bounds when they drilled him. I think the flag will be a block in the back on the return, and then a late hit at the end of the return. But the Jags have another interception against Sam Darnold.
Frank Frangie on the call, Jaguars Radio. One of the great interceptions for the Jaguars today that the offense did nothing with. The defense played their tails off. The offense did not hold their end of the bargain, and the Jaguars lose the game 12-7 to fall to 2-8 on the year. With that as a terrific backdrop, it's now time for the offensive player of the game.
I'm glad you're picking it.
Oh, buddy. The offensive player of the game is brought to you by our friends at Universal Roof and Contracting. RJ, let's do it now. The Universal Roof and Contracting offensive player of the game.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the offensive player of the game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Some weeks it is harder than others to find the Universal Roof offensive player of the game, but we have done it. We have scoured the stats, Coach. And in situations like this, you just got to go with your gut feeling. And I'll give it to Evan Ingram today. 6 catches for 40 yards for Evan Ingram. He had, 6 catches on 8 targets. So, I mean, that's pretty good production, right? Led the team in receiving, led the team in receptions. When you only get 143 yards of offense and one guy accounts for 40 of those yards, that's a pretty good day at the office. So Evan Ingram is this week's offensive player of the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a guy that you can count on, and he does make some tough catches. Again, pretty hard to pick one this week, and I would say that's as good a pick as any.
Had to pick somebody. So
Yeah,
congratulations to Evan Ingram. By the way, late games are going on. The AFC South is absolute garbage. That's what, you talk about salt in the wound for the Jaguars' most disappointing year, arguably in franchise history. It's just how horrific the division is. Tennessee's going to lose today. They're going to fall to 2-7. They're still going to be ahead of the Jaguars, though, in the standings. They're going to lose to the Chargers. Chargers up 27-10 midway through the fourth. The Colts lost again. What are the Colts now? 4-5, 4-6 on the year. They're 4-6. So the Colts are 4-6. The Titans are 2-7. The Jaguars are 2-8. Houston 6-3 could very well fall to 6-4 tonight. They play Detroit, and they're still going to be 3 games clear of the rest of the division. It's absolutely incredible, and that's an indictment on the entire division. We thought the South was as bad as it got last year. To their credit, they all played pretty well last year. 3 teams had 9 wins this entire offseason. We're thinking, all right, AFC South, good division. And clearly it's, again, the worst division in football.
Yeah, we really thought that this was going to be one of those years you had to fight to the finish. But, and really, to be honest with you, I think Houston's coming back to the pack.
Yeah.
That's the shame of the whole thing, that if you do look at it from the standpoint that we've lost 6 games by less than 1 touchdown, you say, we could have been close in this thing as Houston comes back to the pack.
Phone lines are absolutely loaded. We'll get to y'all. Phone calls tonight are courtesy of the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Let's go to the north side. Let's get Zach in here on the 5th quarter on 1010XL. Zach, what's going on?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Oh, Zach, we're good, man. How are you?
I'm okay, man. I just want to say, it's getting crazy every week, man. I call in, I listen to your show every week, but we still trying to figure this thing out. I don't think we can. We lost a game today where we averaged 36 yards a quarter. Can you believe that? That is absolutely insane. But anyway, on the top of all that, we got an arrogant general manager, an arrogant head coach telling the media what to think. I just think they need to blow it up, man. They can let Jackson DeVille run the team, and we'll be in better shape. Anyway, have a good evening, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I did not think much of Doug Peterson doing that today. And again, guy's got a Super Bowl ring. Have respect for that. He was a great coach. There's a statue of him in Philadelphia, but this is not Philadelphia. This is Jacksonville, and you are 3-13 in your last 16 games. By the way, Dennis Allen of the New Orleans Saints got fired last week with a record of 18-25. All right, 18-25. He started the same timeline as Doug at the beginning of 2022. Dennis Allen fired, 18-25. Doug Peterson's record is now 20-24. He's no better than Dennis Allen, who has already been fired in New Orleans. That's reality. And it's not good right now, Coach, and I don't blame fans for being upset.
No, I don't either. And we said it last week. Definitely during the week, my feeling was that at this point in time, it's time to question the coaching staff. It's time to question the general manager. It's time to question certain players, and it's not their fault that they got brought in here. Gabe Davis, what has he done? Darby has struggled. Morse didn't look very good today. I mean, you can look at a bunch of guys and say, what are they doing? It's time to start questioning the quarterback. And now this particular quarterback was a backup quarterback, but obviously he didn't do any better than the starting quarterback.
How many middle linebackers are supposed to push your center in the backfield 5 yards?
Yeah.
That was an interesting one, right?
Yeah, of course, it was on skates for crying out loud.
Now, luckily there was a face mask, but that was not a 300-pound defensive tackle. That was the middle linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings pushing our center back 5 yards.
Yeah, and that's, when he came here, I felt that he was going to be a better technician than who was our center last year?
Luke Fortner.
But
friend of the program, Luke Fortner.
But never did I ever think that he was going to be any more physical, because I watched him play at Buffalo. He was a technician and a smart guy, and you had a quarterback that could move around and run and make all things happen. So, again, I was happy he came because I thought he was a better technician, and maybe that makes a difference. But, you watch him now, he's struggling.
Let's go to the south side. Let's get Gary in here on the fifth quarter on 1010XL, live from Island Girls Cigar Bar on Gate Parkway. Gary, go ahead.
Hey, guys, since the start of the 2000 season, this will be the 15th double-digit loss season for the Jags. 2 7-9 seasons and 2 8-8 seasons out of 25 campaigns. And Brian Thomas can't handle the football on a reverse or anything, touch the ball on a reverse or something to get the ball in his hands. Why doesn't Shad Khan go into Doug Peterson's office and says, the media wouldn't understand. Why don't you explain it to me? Because I don't understand it either. What do you think Doug Peterson would say? And I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's, to me, again, I know about watching the tape, and I get that, and that's what you got to do to figure out what happened. I don't care what the tape shows, what the All-22 shows, and maybe that's just me being ignorant. There's not a world where Brian Thomas Jr. should have 7 targets in 2 weeks. I don't care if they're putting 4 guys on him. He's your only playmaker now that Kirk's gone. Gabe Davis is not a playmaker. Evan Ingram's a tight end. I love Evan Ingram, but he's not a guy that can get down the field, 30, 40 yards vertically. You've got to at least give Brian Thomas a chance. And in back-to-back games, 4 targets last week, 3 targets this week, that is unacceptable.
Yeah, I can't. I'm with you. I mean, I think, I think you can get in trouble trying to force the ball all the time, but there's ways to get the ball to a guy where it's not a double cover down the field. Just get him the football. Let him try to beat somebody with his feet. That's the very least you can do. They did it the other day. They threw it to him on a couple of quick screens, and he made some yardage. We'd love to have him just run down the field and catch a post every time or a takeoff. That doesn't happen sometimes if they are doubling him. But last week, Doug said they were doubling him, and they didn't double him all that much. So I don't know if they're not getting the ball to him for a reason or the quarterbacks aren't getting the ball. I'm not quite sure. I'm not in the huddle.
And they don't throw the ball downfield. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Let's go to the state of Alabama. Let's get Jonathan in here on the fifth quarter. Jonathan, what do you got?
Well, I was impressed with the defense today, but the offense, other than that one touchdown, did nothing. And they need to target Brian Thomas more. I mean, that's pathetic. He only had 7 catches?
7 targets between last week and this week, yep.
That is so pathetic. I mean, get the ball to your big playmaker.
And look, again, they knew Christian Kirk not being in the lineup was a problem, right? They figured this out last year. When Kirk wasn't in there, we saw what happened to the offense. So you had a calendar year, right? I mean, the last time I checked, there was a February and a March and an April, and then that went into May and June and July and August. I mean, they had time.
Yeah.
And now Kirk's out again, and it looks like the offense is going into a shell again.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Well, it's like I said a little earlier. I mean, they opened up with a couple bootlegs to Strange, and then they never came back to it. It doesn't make sense to me. Those are the kind of things that, look, as a defensive coach, all right, I don't know about these offensive guys.
Yeah.
I never liked them in any of them anyway. I don't, but it seems to me that if something works, then you don't see it again the rest of the game. There's something wrong. If something works, I'm thinking to myself, I'm putting a little dot next to that baby, and when things aren't going real well, I'm going back to that. Because I know it worked once, it's probably going to work again.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how they put these things together, but I guarantee you that's not happening.
Well, and again, whether it's the first half or coming out of the halftime locker room, the Jaguars will go 3 and out. It never fails, ever. They got the ball first today, and what did they do? They went 3 and out, and I'll tell you what's going to happen in Detroit next week. You ready? If they win the coin toss and defer, they'll come out of the halftime locker room, and they'll go 3 and out. If Detroit wins the coin toss and Jaguars get it to start the game, what's going to happen, Coach?
Yeah, they're going to go 3 and out.
They're going to go 3 and out because that's what the Jacksonville Jaguars do. You know when you do those NFL films at the beginning of the following year?
Yeah.
And they have all this like really nice like saying a year of finding one's way or something really inspirational. Just call this one 3 and out because that'll sum up the Jaguar 2024 season because they will go 3 and out on you to start every half, whether it's the first half or the second half. Let's go to Ernesto in Jacksonville Beach. He's with us here on the 5th quarter. Ernesto, what's going on?
Well, the whole weekend would have been a loss if it wasn't for the Mr. Cubby celebration for Awaken 180 and Big Hack, Big Deal Hack. That celebration was awesome. You look phenomenal, and I want to thank you for your hospitality. Proud of you as a radio host, a husband to Heidi, father to Little Hack, and downright a great young man. It was an honor to attend. We're an inept offensive team. It's sad. Brian Thomas should be a big part. Find a way to get open. Not the players. It's Dougie Fresh and company that must go sooner than later. In the 5th quarter, does it right analyzing the team and telling the Jags the unfiltered truth. Because in the immortal words of Cool Modi, I'm going to do you the way you should be done. Call you my son. Make you say, Daddy, I don't want none. Boom!
Ernesto, appreciate it. It was good seeing you yesterday out there in Ponte Vedra. 641-1010 is the phone number. We got loaded phone lines. We're with you for at least another hour plus here, live from Island Girl Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway. Come on out, enjoy a cigar. We got the Big Sirs, the Little Sirs, an awesome selection of cigars here at Island Girl. They got big TVs, games everywhere. I've been coming out to this location I think for about 15 years. I've been coming out here a long time. This is my place when it comes to watching games, relaxing, having a cigar, and just unwinding. Comfy chairs, again, TVs, great wait staff. Island Girl Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway is the location tonight for the 5th quarter. Greg, Michael, Marshall, all you guys hang in there. You'll be up on the other side as we roll on. Minnesota 12, Jacksonville 7. 4 Minnesota Viking field goals, enough to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars today. The Jaguars are 2-8 on the year, but think about this, Northeast Florida. If the NFL draft were happening right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars would be on the clock and own the number 1 pick in the 2025 NFL draft. I got to look for positives, Coach, and at least that's a positive. More to do. 5th quarter rolls on. 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Some people call it X. What? Some still call it Twitter.
Okay, I got it.
Whatever you call it, it's the best place for up-to-the-minute Jags coverage from 1010XL.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey. Here in North Florida, you know that when temperatures go up and your AC goes out, you need help now. Like right now. Like lickety-split. So why not call Lickety Split and get same-day emergency service for your AC? Now, I bet you've seen their trucks all over town because they've got dozens of certified technicians ready to repair not only your AC, but your home's plumbing and electrical too. So when you want it done right and you need it done right now, call Lickety Split AC Plumbing and Electric.
When pests invade your space, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, we show up for you and eliminate pests quicker. Because we care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so do we. Don't live with a pest problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
Help the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl create holiday experiences for local families. The Send a Child to the Game program provides families a free game day experience, including transportation, t-shirts, pregame meal, and game tickets. Let's partner with VyStar Credit Union to send 1,500 kids and families to the game. To help reach this goal where youth can witness history at the 80th Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, make a tax-deductible donation to Gator Bowl charities at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on the Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, putting an extra 60 minutes on the clock. The window world of Northeast Florida, fifth quarter at Island Girl Cigar Bar on Gate Parkway. Presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings on 1010XL.
Four-man front. They've been blitzing every play. They send 5 again. Mack drops. Look, fires downfield, and that ball is going to be intercepted. He was well covered. He was trying to get it to Gabe Davis, but it was picked off by Byron Murphy Jr. He had great coverage on Gabe, and he picked it off right around midfield, about the 47-yard line of Jacksonville, and that is where Minnesota is going to take over.
Frank Frangie on the call, Jaguars Radio. I got a chuckle there. You want to talk about La La Land? Coach, you were on with us as a guest on the fifth quarter. You started full-time with us, I think, 3 years ago.
Right.
Byron Murphy, I've always remembered that guy's name for one thing. He had the interception today. That was the guy that had the whirly bird interception. Remember the whirly bird against Arizona in the ineptitude that was Urban Meyer, where Andrew Norwell was blocking nobody and did the whirly bird?
Yeah.
That was Byron Murphy 3 years ago, and now he's back, and the team Jaguars are just as bad as we were 3 years ago.
Right, and Murphy is leading the team in interceptions.
Yeah.
He's a good football player.
When guys throw it right to him, Mac Jones, that was a great throw to Byron Murphy. Hit him right there in the hands.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Did you see Gabe Davis on that one?
I've seen Gabe Davis do a lot this year, and it hadn't been very good.
He ran a comeback, a stop. He just stopped. He didn't come back to the ball. He gave the guy the opportunity to step in front of him.
Yeah, 13.
He's really done nothing in my mind since he's been here.
$13 million a year. Ugh. All right, well, every week here on the fifth quarter, we do give you a defensive player of the game. That defensive player of the game is brought to you by our friends at Superior Fence and Rail. RJ, let's do it now. The Superior Fence and Rail defensive player of the game.
Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail defensive player of the game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
There were a lot of options for this. All right, a lot of options. The defense played really well today. But anytime somebody has 16 total tackles, 9 of which are solo, we're going to give them the defensive player of the game. And that is what Devin Lloyd was credited with today. Foye Oluokun, by the way, was also in double digits in tackles. But Devin Lloyd has had some grief this year. There have been some times where he didn't play particularly well. But he played pretty well today, Coach. 16 tackles for number 33.
Well, I think they're using him correctly a little bit more now. He's not a pass defender. That's not what he is. He's a run defender. They're moving him around a little bit. They're bringing in Ventrell Miller on pass situations, and Ventrell had a great play today on a pass broken.
Really nice play, yeah.
I think his deal is that they got to get him comfortable in a spot where he can do what he does best, and I think they're starting to work towards that right now.
With the head coach Dave Campo, the hacker Ryan Green with you. Leon is off tonight. Island Girl Cigar Bar is our location on Gate Parkway. To the phone lines we go, 641-1010 if you want to get in about the Jaguars, now 2-8 after a 12-7 loss today to the Minnesota Vikings. Let's go to the south side. Let's get Greg in here on the fifth quarter on 1010XL. Greg, what's going on?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Real interesting comment from Jimmy Johnson on the Fox national broadcast pregame. They were talking about coaches on the hot seat. They went to Jimmy, asking about Doug Peterson. And basically he goes, who cares? The only people that care are in London and in Jacksonville.
Oh,
he goes,
nice.
he's got his money, and he's got a statue in Philadelphia. He goes, who cares? I'll take it off there, man. Thanks.
I did not hear Jimmy Johnson say that, but that's obviously your guy. What's your thought there?
Well, it doesn't surprise me that Jimmy has an opinion on who's out there, and he has a pretty good opinion of himself as well. So he probably figures he could come down to Jacksonville and win a bunch of ball games. Although, and I love Jimmy, don't get me wrong, and he's a hell of a football coach, but he didn't do it in Miami. He had his opportunity. He got him to the playoffs, but that's as far as he got him. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know that you make that kind of a statement on national television. I don't know.
When you look at this football team, because the conversation's coming, right? It's a foregone conclusion at this point. They're going to get a new coach, and if they don't, I don't even know what to tell the fan base. How appealing is this job? If you're a coach that's looking for an opportunity, i.e. Ben Johnson or somebody like that, Cliff Kingsbury looking to get back in, whomever, and you say Jacksonville, what comes to mind? How appealing is it?
Well, I think Jacksonville, from an appeal standpoint, is probably not that good based on the fact of what they've done. But when you've got a quarterback that, you look at Trevor Lawrence and you say, if I was looking at it, I'd say, hey, I think I can fix this guy, because he's got talent.
He's only 25 years old.
Yeah. I got talent. And when he gets away from the generational moniker, I think I can fix him with what I put around him. Now, with a different GM.
Yes.
That, to me, is
that's
the
the
key.
prerequisite.
If there's a different GM and he's a guy that I have a pretty good feel for, I think that would be this would be an appealing thing because, number one, you can only go up. You can't go down.
No, right? They're picking number one in the draft right now. They literally are the worst team in football. Yeah. And talking right now at 6:44 Eastern Standard Time on November, 10th, 11th,
right.
They are the worst team in the National Football League. And you know why I know that? That's not an opinion. That is a fact. Because they would be picking first in the draft if the draft were going on right now.
Yeah, so when you ask that question, if you're Ben Johnson, let's say Ben Johnson is the flavor of the month.
Yeah.
He's going to have, or the year, he's going to have 4 or 5 different options probably.
Well, New Orleans is already open. The Jets are already open.
Right.
Dallas may come open.
Right.
But
my answer to go along with that answer is, it may not be that appealing to him particularly, but I guarantee you there's a bunch of guys out there that would take the job. I can tell you that.
Trevor
right
Lawrence, owners willing to spend money.
Absolutely.
Owners
new
proven
facilities,
new facility.
New stadium coming on. There's a lot of positives. It's just the only thing that hangs over them is they've never done it.
Let's go to Fernandina Beach. Let's get Michael in here on the 5th quarter on 1010XL. Michael, what's going on?
Hacker coach, love you guys, man. Hey, talking about that GM thing, how many GMs get multiple number 1 overall picks? Number 2, I hear Doug talking about that the media wouldn't understand a play call. One thing I don't understand is why our offense is so putrid, no matter who's at quarterback. Love you guys, man. Talk to you later.
The reason the offense is putrid at this point, people said, well, they didn't get the ball to Ridley, or they're forcing it to Ridley. Now they're not getting the ball to Thomas, so they're going to force it to Thomas. So what's the common denominator here? It's Doug Peterson and Press Taylor. That's the common denominator. It's the definition of insanity. They keep doing the same thing every week, expecting different results. And I'm sure Doug Peterson stood there and said they got to watch the tape and make the corrections, and he's going to say that tomorrow. I don't care. That, to me, is nonsense. He's just doing that because he's doing his obligation, because the NFL mandates coaches talk 3 or 4 times a week. I don't want to hear about corrections being made. I don't want to hear about watching the tape, because nothing ever changes. I don't know what you're watching or what corrections you're doing, because it looks the same every single week. It never changes.
Yeah, and that can be, some of that can be the players now.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken poop. You know what I mean? And when
they're paying a lot of money for chicken poop, if that's the case.
But we've just indicted about 5 guys on this show tonight of what they're doing. Now,
but you know as well as I do, the coach is going to fall on the sword for those guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether that's fair or not, that's the reality.
Absolutely. And again, frustration can make cowards of us all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not easy what he's doing over there, what's happening over there. So, again, we're in a tough spot.
It's not easy, but when you're asked a legit question about a right-handed quarterback and a left shoulder injury last week, and you say, well, it might affect the way he carries his duffel bag into the stadium.
Right.
Look, that might be funny if you're 6-3 and in a battle for first place in the division. When you're getting your head kicked in every week and your fans are paying good money to go to the stadium and watch you get the hell beat out of you, week after week after week, no one really thinks that's funny.
And it really puts a little bit of a stigma on Trevor because he didn't go this week.
Right. And Doug said it's a pain tolerance issue too last week.
Yeah.
So what is he insinuating?
Yeah.
If you read between the lines there, I don't know.
That's the concern. Really.
Let's go to the west side. Let's get Marshall in here on 1010XL. Marshall, what's happening?
Hey, Coach. Appreciate the time tonight. Y'all are the best. Got a quick question about tight ends and the problem that we have on defense. I feel like routinely this defense cannot stop tight ends. Again, we saw that today with T.J. Hockenson. Just want to get your thoughts on that. Trent Baalke, Lenny Curry, y'all are both the worst. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, well, we could have done without that. I guess get a salvo in, whatever. Not even going to acknowledge that. Having said that, what about the tight end situation?
Well, first of all, they were in the majority of zone today. And, everybody that doesn't follow, it's not in the – first of all, you're watching TV, you can't see exactly what's happening on the back end. So I don't blame the fans for saying, well, he didn't cover him because he was the closest guy to him. Well, in zone defense, you're going to spots, and – if a good tight end is good, you watch Kelsey. If he's covered over here with a guy, he'll move over here, and there's nobody there. He finds the holes. Well, that's what Hockenson was doing most of the time. But at the same time, I think you probably remember the one play where he beat Aluakan underneath. You remember that one? He went for about 15 yards. He came out. Aluakan came over there. That was man coverage.
Yeah.
So he just got flat beat. That was man for sure. But the majority of it was zone, and a tight end is the quarterback's best friend in a zone because there's little areas in there, and if he knows where he is all the time and everything's covered, he can get the ball down to him, and that's kind of what they did with him today.
RJ, let's call an audible at the line of scrimmage. Every week here on the fifth quarter, we give you a special teams player of the game. That special teams player of the game is brought to you by Crown Royal. And let's do it now. The Crown Royal special teams player of the game.
Now, it's time to showcase the Crown Royal special teams player of the game. Live generously and life will treat you royally.
Again, when you score 7 points, it can be a little tough to find a special teams player of the game. But in scoring 7 points, you know what that means? It means it punted the ball a lot. And the Jaguars do have arguably the best punter in the National Football League. His name is Logan Cook. And look, when your punter gets 5 opportunities to punt the ball and he averages almost 55 yards per punt, including 4 inside the 20, Logan Cook earned his paycheck today. We ought to just rename it the Logan Cook Player of the Week award. He seems to win it every week. He is this week's Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the game.
Yeah, he's as good a punter as there is in the league. I mean, there might be guys that might go deeper than he does, a little longer than he does, but consistently he's one of the best in the league. There's no question about it. Can I say one more thing about the tight end?
I would love for you to.
Because a lot of people do not understand that, okay? They went into this game saying, we're going to make sure Jefferson doesn't get the football. That's why they were playing all zone, okay? We can't lock up on him man-to-man. Well, when you make that decision, okay, you're in effect saying it's not like the tight end beat him down the field for 50 yards or 40 yards. They're saying they can't score if they just dump the ball down to the tight end. They may hold on to the ball, but when they get in the red zone, we're going to play our defense and keep them out of the end zone. That was the decision that was made. Mm-hmm. So the tight end is going to be one of those guys. The running back is going to be one of those guys. The slot, getting into little holes, is going to be one of those guys. And so, it really looks like, they can't stop the tight end. Well, they're really not trying to stop. When they make that decision philosophically, they're really saying he can't beat us single-handedly. This guy over here can.
I'm just trying to remember the last time one player on 4 consecutive third downs caught first downs.
Oh, yeah.
On that one drive, every 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, like 4 times in a row, they just threw to Hawkinson for a first down.
I actually, towards the end of the game, when it got to the third downs, I actually said, you know what? I think at this point I'd be frustrated enough that the offense wasn't doing anything. It's kind of like when I play blackjack. When I play blackjack, I play a little bit, make a little bit. It gets to me about 2 o'clock in the morning. I say to heck with it, I'm done, and I throw everything on the table, and usually I lose it all right then and there.
Yeah.
Well, I was about frustrated enough to say, okay, they're not going to get this ball off. I'm coming with everybody. And that's just the time Jefferson catches one for about 50 yards, So it's a philosophy. It really is. You stick with that philosophy, that you make that decision, that's it.
It is the Window World of Northeast Florida, 5th quarter. We are presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings, live from Island Girl Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway. We're with you till 8 o'clock. Come on out as we reminisce about the Jaguars. 12-7 loss today to the Minnesota Vikings. Tennessee lost. They're 2-7. Indianapolis lost. They're 4-6, but none of it matters because the Jaguars did not win again. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, as we said earlier, would have the first pick in the draft if the draft were held today. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. Your phone calls next. That's Dean, Kevin, Gary, James. All you guys will be up on the other side as we roll on a Sunday evening in Jacksonville with Dave Campo, the hacker Ryan Green with you. 5th quarter, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called The Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. It's the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley as they discuss the latest in the world of soccer, including Sporting Jacks bringing pro men's and women's soccer to Jacksonville. Tuesday nights at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Hey, Jacksonville Koozies, it's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida, Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals, dine-in with beer and wine, and delivery at salvatores.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Do it with me, baby. Salvatores.com.
1010XL, WJXL AM and FM, Jacksonville Beach, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. From the offseason to the postseason, nobody covers the Jaguars like 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. The text line was lighting up again this week with our listeners telling us they're cashing in betting with MyBookie. With the best sign-up deposit bonus in the industry available to Florida bettors, you need to get in on the action with promo code 1010XL. We have monster games to tackle this weekend. Mac Jones likely starting for the first time in the teal and black. He's going to be around a 7-point underdog to the Vikings. Similar situation when the Eagles travel to face the Cooper Rush-led Cowboys, where the Cowboys are also 7-point dogs at home. The Lions may be the NFL's best team, taking on C.J. Stroud and the Texans on Sunday Night Football. Stroud is kind of struggling without his receivers. I would go Lions there. Again, MyBookie still has that double deposit bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit up to $1,000. It's the best deposit sign-up bonus in the industry. So sign up now, promo code 1010XL, and make yourself a winner with MyBookie. Don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. In today's world of retail, how has a store like Underwoods stayed viable against the big national stores?
Frank, that's a question with a direct answer. At Underwoods, we've never aspired to be the biggest. What we've always tried to do is be the best. When you take this approach, there's some things that come to mind immediately, like fine quality merchandise bought by buyers that are experts, high levels of service delivered by a staff that are helpful and know what they're doing. Then there's some things that people don't really think about at all. Like the finer a gem, the more rare it is. And these gems are not mass producible because they were made by God millions of years ago. Because of that, there just aren't enough of these for the big multi-store retailers to buy and put into their merchandising schemes. So at Underwoods, we buy these finer, rarer gems and create jewelry pieces that the people in Jacksonville expect out of us.
When you want the best, it's Underwoods. Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, and at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Bringing you an extra quarter of football.
The window world of Northeast Florida, fifth quarter. From Island Girl Cigar Bar on Gate Parkway. Presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings on 1010XL.
He's going to sneak it again. That time he had to get in. Touchdown. A 1-yard touchdown run by Mac Jones, and now the Jaguars have taken the lead.
Frank Frangie on the call, Jaguars radio, the Mac Jones quarterback sneak. That was the one and only touchdown the Jaguars scored today. You might have forgotten it because it happened so long ago, back in the first quarter, because there wasn't a whole lot that happened in the second, third, and fourth quarter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Every week here on the fifth quarter, we do give you a play of the game. That play of the game is brought to you by our friends at Performance Painting. RJ, let's do it now. The Performance Painting play of the game.
Now, the Performance Painting high performance play of the game. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Coach, anytime a 1-yard quarterback sneak is the play of the game, that pretty much tells you everything you need to know. Nevertheless, it is the play of the game, and they finally mastered the quarterback sneak. They hadn't done it in 3 years, but now they've done it a couple of weeks, and it seems to be working.
Yeah, well, it took them 2 of them.
Yeah, it took them 2 of them. They didn't get the first one in.
They got it in.
Yeah.
They got it in. Yeah. I mean, and listen.
And what a quarterback sneak it was. It's going to be very memorable.
Yeah.
Very memorable.
Yeah. Well, it is the play of the game. We only got 7 points.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we got for you here as the Jaguars fall 12-7, 143 yards of total offense for the Jaguars in that loss to Minnesota. Phone lines loaded. Let's get to you as the 7 o'clock hour approaches. By the way, a good Sunday night football game tonight with Detroit and Houston. It'll be good for the Jaguars and your fans to watch this game because the next 2 teams are going to beat you. Detroit's going to beat you next Sunday, and then Houston's going to beat you after the bye. So you can get a head start on the beatings that are coming when you watch the Lions and the Texans coming up tonight on Sunday Night Football. To the phone lines we go. Let's go to the south side. Let's get Dean in here on the fifth quarter on 1010XL. Dean, what do you got?
Yeah, Coach and Hack. Unfortunately, I missed the game. I was jetting back from that blowout in Austin, so I didn't get to see the game. But, I just got into the airport and saw we were another anemic day with the Jags. Only this time it's hometown boy come good. And, he was always hankering for that position to play quarterback, and then Trevor's hurt. And then, the Jags try to fly in the face of what makes sense. I called one of the other hosts and mentioned, we paid Trevor. And, it was a guy that sets the standard in the NFL. Mahomes didn't get paid, so you have other money to pay other players to support him. Same thing they did with Brady in New England, and they seem to win though. So while the Jags think they can fly in face of the model that's set for how you pay people, they don't. And then the draft choices over the years. I mean, you got to bring players in, and I've seen a transformation in Detroit where I grew up with the Lions. You mentioned playing tonight with Dan Campbell, and he's got them playing hard though, not with Matt Patricia and the pencil in the ear, and not winning anything. No, where all the other history of the Lions not winning anything since '57. But
Dean, appreciate the phone call. He just said something there that I was thinking about. O'Connell in Minnesota, Campbell in Detroit. That basically should end the conversation. You could go even deeper than that. Dan Quinn in Washington. I mean, you can go on. All of these guys have been there just as long or even shorter than Doug Peterson. And you're talking about the best teams in football. Washington, even though they lost today, a great game to Pittsburgh, they're 7-3. They're one of the best teams in football. Detroit may be the best team in football. Minnesota's now, 7-2. And all of these guys are on the same timeline or even a shorter timeline than that of Doug Peterson. The Jaguars have gotten considerably worse from his year 1 to now being in his year 3, where all these other teams have ascended up. And there's no debating that. It's right in front of you. It's hard to defend that.
Well, that's why I've said, and I said it this past week, and I said a little earlier today, it's time to start questioning the coaches and the GM. I mean, obviously, you don't just turn things around because you get in the locker room and kick him in the knee, like our boy up in Detroit. Right? He said, we're going to kick them in the knee. We're going to beat them up.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bite off their kneecaps.
That didn't get them going.
Right.
It was the philosophy and the organization and bringing in the players and getting a guy in the 4th round like Amon-Ra. That's how you turn things around, And we did it in Dallas back in the day by – getting draft picks and making the right picks. I mean, you bring in Emmitt Smith, you bring in this guy and that guy. That's how you turn it around. It's not based on we're going to get in the locker room and motivate them.
Shad Khan gave Gus Bradley 4 years. He gave Dave Caldwell 3 contracts. He's given Trent Baalke now ample time. My biggest flaw with Shad, as great as he's been as an owner, is he's too loyal to a fault. And I think that narrative is out there enough now to where he's probably heard that. And I wonder what, if anything, that means. If he's really going to think about, am I too loyal to a fault? Because that's kind of the MO. People love Shad for what he's done for the city and the organization. But in some of his hirings and, quite frankly, just keeping people too long, which is what he's done here.
I'm going to say it this way. I'm going to say it again. I've said it a bunch of times. Jerry Jones is the most loyal guy to his players and his coaching staff than anybody, except when the fans start putting the bags over their head and he questions whether or not he is going to lose some money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's the bottom line. And the one thing that in this situation that's different than the others, Shad had nothing to base needing to change on. He has that now. They're doing a renovation of the stadium where he got tax money from people in the city. So now all of a sudden it's becoming business. That's why I think there's a possibility that he may be a little less loyal this time around than he maybe was 5 years ago or 6 years ago, where he had no, same stadium. We got, I like this guy. He looks like he's doing a good job, whatever.
Back to the phone lines we go. It's 641-1010. Let's go out to, where are we at? Fleming Island. Let's get Kevin in here on the 5th quarter. Kevin, go ahead. Oh, maybe we already took Kevin. I think we already took. Did you already take Kevin? Kevin, you on? Kevin going once. Kevin going twice. All right, Kevin is gone. Let's go out to the beaches. Let's get Gary in here on the 5th quarter. Gary, what's happening?
Hey,
Gary,
what's up, fellas? How are y'all?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, man, first of all, congratulations, Hack, man. That's a huge accomplishment to you, man. You're an inspiration, man. Hopefully everything else works out for you.
Thank you, buddy.
As far as this game, man, I'm a season ticket holder, man. I have been for many years. Shout out to Section 150. Man, all these phone calls that I've been in, I listen to you guys all day long, and everybody's talking about, let's just try Mac Jones. Let's just put Mac Jones in there, and he can do something better. It's not. I don't care if it was Mac Jones or Trevor or I'm not going to say Tom Brady, because Tom Brady probably would have won the game. But you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just our offense is garbage. I mean, how are we 36 yards going into the second quarter, halftime? We can't win ball games like this. And our defense, shout out to them, man. We should have got blown out. I'm just tired of this shit.
Appreciate the phone call. Let's keep it clean. RJ with a save there, the Dominic Hasek save from RJ. Let's keep it clean. It's a G-rated program, PG on the outer limits. But I hear you, Gary. I hear you. I hear the frustration. And like we talked about, Coach, you're supposed to play well at home, right? The home field advantage is supposed to be a real thing in the NFL. Yet the Jaguars are horrible here. I mean, since the Charger game last year, or the playoff game in January, I guess it was last year. It was January of 23, the 22 season. But since January of 23, every home game of substance the Jacksonville Jaguars have played, they've gotten beat, and in some cases they have gotten destroyed. Kansas City, San Francisco, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Houston last year. This year, Cleveland, Green Bay, today with Minnesota. It is awful, the product they put on this field in front of their home crowd.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer to that one. I mean, I see things that they're not doing well, and it's things that they're not doing well week to week, whether it's on the road or home. I just don't know what the answer is there. You know, we tried to talk about that last year because we were struggling a little bit at home, and I think we kind of came up a little bit with, maybe they're too comfortable here. You know, they're not together. They're in their own beds. I don't know what it is. Home field advantage when I coached was big. I mean, our guys juiced it up, when it was a home ball game. Today, I don't see it here, really.
Phone lines open, 641-1010. We're going to be with you for about another 30 minutes or so. Island Girls Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway is our location. Let's get one more in on this side. Again, if you're on the line, we will get to you before we get out of here in about the next half an hour. Let's go to the south side. Let's get James in here on the fifth quarter on 1010XL. James, what's happening?
Hey, guys. I'm like that previous caller. I'm just a frustrated fan. This is not about the X's and O's, Coach. I'm not trying to dissect the game. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, season ticket holder, and I've seen the good and the bad. But you could bring Bill Belichick in here and Patrick Mahomes. It wouldn't matter. We'd be bad. I don't know what it is. And I'm getting really apathetic about this team. That's the worst thing you can be, and I don't want to be that way. But it's almost like I don't care no more. Tailgating is more than the fun than the game. And you're talking about blowing it up? Okay, let's blow it up. Then what, 3 years, 4 years from now? Who are you going to get? We're talking about blowing it up. Who are you going to get? What you going to do? Tell me, please. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the phone call. I'll tell you this. It's better. I'd get somebody that's going to put a better product on the field than what Doug Peterson's putting on this field. I would get somebody that's going to do a better job at player personnel than what Trent Baalke's doing. So, yes, I'm ready to blow it up. I'm ready to bring another head coach in here. I'm ready to bring another general manager in here. Because losing 13 of your last 16 games is causing apathy among the fan base. It's a bad product. The product stinks right now. There's no doubt about that.
Well, it's like what you said earlier about, one of the things of insanity is the reason that you make a change is because you can't do the same thing over and over and over again and expect to have a different result.
Right.
So, in essence, the frustration of the guy, the way they're playing right now, I'm not sure somebody coming in here tomorrow would make a difference, but you have to make a decision based on what's the betterment of the program going forward. That's the biggest thing. So, I understand the frustration of the fans for sure. I mean, it's just a rough deal.
Is there a better way to do it mid-season compared to Black Monday? Does it matter? My only concern, it's not even really a concern. I would do it sooner rather than later because I don't want, and I don't think this is going to happen because the team is terrible, but I don't want nothing to happen and the Jaguars win 3 of their last 4 or 4 of their last 5 to give Shad Khan any idea, any twitch in his mustache that maybe they're changing their tone or they're turning the corner and building positive momentum into the offseason if they win 3 or 4 completely meaningless games at the end of the year.
Well, they're doing that with Napier right now.
Oh, well, shot across the bow, yes.
I mean, they're doing that. I mean, but I don't want to see anybody fired,
right.
To be honest with you. I mean, I've been there. I know. And really, it's not the head coach, just like Jimmy said. He's set for life, probably.
Yeah.
But those assistant coaches are not.
But I know you're in an interesting position because you're a former head coach. Speaking from a media guy who covered this team and has lived here for 30 years, and it's in my best interest of all parties involved if the Jaguars are good. Am I hoping and getting on my knees every night and praying that Doug Peterson gets fired? Of course not.
No.
Of course not.
No, I know that.
But I want the team to win.
That's what I'm saying.
And right now they're not winning.
And that's what I'm saying. It's if you keep doing the same thing over and over, and it doesn't have a result, you have to make a change. That's all there is to it. That's what. Really, to be honest with you, that's what life is. If you're a CEO of a company and the company starts losing money, you change the CEO. It's a
results-oriented business.
Absolutely, and more so now because these guys are everything they make is based on what happens with this football team.
Well, they get results at Island Girl Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway. This has been one of my places for years and years and years. Come on in, relax, grab a smoke, grab a cocktail. They got a terrific drink selection, full bar, TVs everywhere. They'll have Sunday Night Football on for you tonight, Houston and Detroit. I'm going to stick around, watch a little bit of that Sunday night game, have a cigar with some friends after the show. Come on out. Island Girl Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway is our home tonight here for the 5th quarter. It is the window world of Northeast Florida 5th quarter. We are presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings. We'll come back with a drive of the game. We'll do one more segment of phone calls. If you get in right now, we will take you at 641-1010. With the head coach, Dave Campo, I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. Minnesota 12, Jacksonville 7. The Jaguars now 2-8, but fret not. Yeah, you're 2-8. Yeah, you'd be picking number 1 in the draft, but there's always next week, right? Yeah, next week they go to Detroit to take on maybe the best team in football in the Detroit Lions. More to do with the 5th quarter on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
From the edge of your radio to the edge of your seat. Showtime! Feel the excitement of live play-by-play.
And this place is rocking right now.
On 1010XL.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists congratulating this week's high school scholar athlete, Leighton Yates, senior diver and track and field athlete at Stanton Prep. Leighton is a member of the National Spanish and Psychology Honor Societies. Congratulations, Leighton.
You've got so many chances to win big on Hard Rock Bet. Even a small bet can bring in that serious cash. All you need is $1 and a dream.
Unbelievable! They've hit the parlay. Let's go!
Big payouts for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting! Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our first
first contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida. It's Gwendolyn Pierce.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Huddle up at Hurricane Grill and Wings, where every day is game day. Dig into fan-favorite dishes and new shareables, including carne asada loaded fries, hot honey wings, and boom boom sliders. Try new cocktails like the spicy Guavarita and the Red Bullarita, or enjoy bucket specials featuring Miller Lite, Modelo Especial, and High Noon during all pro and college football games. Don't miss out. Grab your friends and family and swing by Hurricane Grill and Wings and see what everyone's cheering about. HurricaneWings.com.
Bull riding. The perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the Michelob Ultra PBR Jacksonville at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, February 22nd and 23rd. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores.
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage too.
ClearwaterJacks.com. There's no way to prepare for the impact an accident makes on your life. That's why we've spent 40 years getting ready for that moment when you need compassion and immediate action. The right doctors, investigators, our team of experienced attorneys, and your free consultation is already in place. So if you've been hurt, remember, the Farah Safety Net is right here to catch you. All you have to do is call Farah and Farah. It's what we built. Jacksonville.
Hey, Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
From Island Girls Cigar Bar on Gate Parkway.
This is the window world of Northeast Florida 5th quarter. Presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
On 1010XL.
4-man rush. Looking, all kind of time. Nice fire for the end of the ball. Is it picked off by the Jaguars? I think it was. Yes, it was. A diving interception by Monteric Brown in the end zone. What a play. And the Jags have turned away the Minnesota Vikings.
Frank Frangie on the call, Jaguars radio. The Jaguars had 3 interceptions. That was one of them by Monteric Brown. Of course, the offense did absolutely nothing with that interception. Neither did they do anything with the Foye Lucan interception or, coach, to round it out, they didn't do anything with the Darnell Savage interception. But at least the defense gave them the opportunity to do some things.
Well, and it was good because it gave everybody the illusion that we might win the game.
Yes. It kept everybody intrigued. Right. It kept everybody intrigued until the end of the game, where inevitably the Jaguars are going to rip your heart out in the final minute or so, which is, again, what happened.
They did.
Yes, 3 and out and rip your heart out. That's going to be the NFL Films 2024 Jacksonville Jaguars. They're going to go 3 and out at the beginning of the game, and they will rip your heart out at the end of the game. Every week here on the 5th quarter, we give you a drive of the game. That drive of the game is brought to you by Randy Marion Cadillac. RJ, let's do it now. The Randy Marion Cadillac drive of the game.
Now, the Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
Well, Coach, when you have one touchdown drive, it's pretty easy to figure out what the drive of the game is going to be on the Jaguars' second offensive possession. 9 plays, 70 yards, 4 minutes and 12 seconds off the clock. Mac Jones, a quarterback sneak from the 1-yard line that would give Jacksonville a 7-3 lead, would get everybody's hopes up until they were ultimately shattered and crushed as the game continued. But nevertheless, that is this week's Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the game. Your thoughts?
You're asking me?
Your thoughts. Your thoughts on everything involved. Give me something to hang my hat on tonight.
Well, I wish we were the other team because they had 1, 2, 3, 4. They had 4 drives of over 12 plays.
They had more plays in the Jaguar territory at the fourth quarter at one point than the Jaguars had total plays in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the Minnesota Vikings ran 39 more plays today than the Jaguars did.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
80, right? They had
82, and the Jaguars had 43.
Yeah.
That is absolutely incredible.
Well, I'm glad they had the one drive. At least, that gives you hope for the future.
Absolutely. It's something to build on, some positivity going into this week. All right, if you're on the phone lines, we will get to you, 641-1010. Let's go to Melbourne. Let's get Steve in here on the fifth quarter on 1010XL. Steve, what's going on?
Just another Jaguar Sunday. But no, I got to give it to the defense. They played their butts off. Eventually, the gas is going to start running out of the tank. But to answer your question, Hack, or at least my theory, I think Doug Peterson's a one-year hit coach. I mean, he has one great year in Philly, does great, make Carson Wentz look like an MVP until he gets hurt. A vet carries him the rest of the way. And then it just went downhill from there. And then he has one good year with us. Trev starts looking like a showing improvement. We get a playoff win. We have a great season. The next season, our hopes are up and everything, and then all of a sudden it just starts going downhill. And then this year, once again, I mean, we're just in a crapshoot right now where nothing's going to go right, and it doesn't seem like it's ever going to get better. And that's my thought on that. I mean, everybody says Peterson's a great – yes, he has a Super Bowl ring, and that so matters in this league. But it seems like he so far just has one good year. And, I mean, come on. And the Helmets and Heels, they had a Philadelphia reporter on. They wanted to keep Doug, but guess what? Doug didn't want to get rid of Press. And it's coming back to bite him in the butt again.
Yeah, well, that's what it looks like. People talk about Doug Peterson had a great year in 2022. Again, I enjoyed that run as much as anybody, but let's go back and review it. They were 4-8, all right? When they started that 6-game winning streak, let's talk about the quarterbacks that they beat. They beat Ryan Tannehill, all right? They beat Davis Mills. They beat Zach Wilson and that caveman that also played in that game against New York, Stradler or whatever his name was. Boy, what a piece of work that guy was. They beat Josh Dobbs, who was with Tennessee for 2 weeks before that game in the AFC South Championship game. And, yeah, they did beat Dak Prescott in that 6-game winning streak. Lamar was not in that 6-game winning streak. That was earlier in the year. So it might have been smoke and mirrors. And they beat Herbert in the playoff after the Chargers had gotten up 27-3 in that game. So as fun as that run was, when you look back on it, that 6-game winning streak was Davis Mills, Zach Wilson, Ryan Tannehill, and Josh Dobbs was 4 of the 6 quarterbacks they beat en route to making it to the postseason.
Yeah, and I think it kind of has been the moniker over there that we can stand pat. I mean, I thought they made some really good choices when they brought in the Kirk group, whatever. I can't remember all the guys.
No, it was Christian Kirk. It was Zay Jones, Fatukasi, a lot of those guys. And they were good. They were
pretty good.
Yeah, they were. Evan Ingram was on there, Brandon Sheriff.
Now, I don't know that this group is as good this past year coming in.
I can tell you, no, they are not as good.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
So it really comes down to who's making those decisions. You don't know if it's the combination of the two of them. You don't know if it's Doug or whether it's Trent. You don't know. That's the things you don't know. Who's making the final decision.
No, you don't, but you know that whatever they're doing doesn't appear to be working. There's no doubt about that. 641-1010. Let's go to Athens, Georgia. Let's get Greg in here on the fifth quarter on 1010XL. Greg, what's happening?
Hey, fellas. Thanks for taking my call. I just had two questions, and the first one's more for Coach. I'm a diehard. I would take our diehard fans up against any fan base in the league, right? Like we've been through a lot. And I get all the reasons why it happens, right? But, like, every home game, I look across the other side of the field, and it's a bigger split than, like the Florida-Georgia game, right, when it's in Jacksonville. So, like, psychologically, when we talk about playing at home and the home field advantage, like, do you have any opinion on what that does, if anything, to the players? And then my second question is about Trevor, right? Like, his non-throwing shoulder. He showed last year that he's willing to play through injuries. Like, do you guys think there's more to what's going on with Trevor than what we're kind of being told? I appreciate, again, having me on. And my radio's not working right now, so if you don't mind keeping me on so I can listen before letting me go. I appreciate it.
Greg, appreciate the phone call. I'll take the Trevor one. The Trevor thing, I don't know if there's more going on. I do think that some of what was said last week was interesting, particularly by Doug Peterson in some of those press conferences. And I'll just leave it at that. I think it's interesting what's going on. It's odd because Trevor played the rest of the game last week. If the injury happened on the hit to the shoulder, like everybody's saying it did, he played the rest of the game last week, and then all of a sudden he shows up on the injury report Wednesday after really not saying anything about it on Monday or Tuesday. So, yeah, odd. He brings up a good point. I was stunned at the amount of Minnesota Viking fans in Everbank Stadium today. Stunned.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing with Green Bay or Pittsburgh or Kansas City, Buffalo. Minnesota, there were thousands of Minnesota Viking fans in there today. I was very surprised by that.
Well, first of all, I would say that does make a difference, in my mind, because the game of football is emotional. And you can say whatever you want. They're professional athletes. They shouldn't worry about where they're at or who they're playing with. But when you do come home, you'd like to have a full stadium like the Kansas City Chiefs do, where all that's in there is red. That's all there is to it. So there is something to that. It doesn't seem to be as big a deal right now, but psychologically it has to. And then the other with Trevor, obviously, if you're a conspiracy theorist, okay, you could say that Trent Baalke walked in and said, hey, look, we're not going to get things done here. We have to make sure that this guy doesn't get hurt. We've got to make sure that he's 100% going into next year. So, that's out there. Now, if I'm Doug Peterson, I'm not having any of that unless I know for sure that I've already been told that I'm coming back the next year, then I'm going to make perfectly sure that he's going to be set to go.
See, but that's the thing, all right? And I hate that we're doing this right now, but I mean we're into it, and they're 2-8, and they're awful, so it's that time of year. The buck stops with Shad Khan. Whatever he wants is going to happen. That's the benefit of being the owner of the football team. If, and again, I can't imagine this to be the case, but who knows? Play along here, if he's decided that Doug and Trent are coming back, how are you going to sell that to this fan base?
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that.
Right? No, I'm not saying you, but like in general, what would the marketing be? Like, how do you sell that to this fan base?
Yeah, I think that'd be very difficult. But at the same time, there have been instances where coaches have taken 4 or 5 years back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, that patience is not a virtue in this today. But there was a time there have been some guys that really had bad starts and finished strong. So, I mean, I don't know how you sell it. That's why you make the business decision if the fans are leaving you. That's what I say with Sean.
Let's get one more phone call in tonight. Sohail over in Arlington. You're on the fifth quarter on 1010XL. What's going on?
Hey, gentlemen. Thanks for taking my call. Long-time listener. and I was going to make two observations, and I'd like to get your guys' input on it. My first observation was, what is it going to take to get the hashtag fire Trent Baalke going? And here's where I'm going with this. I'm not so sure if our issue is the coaching and the coaching staff per se. I think the constant here is this guy has been at the helm far too long, and consistently the guy cannot draft, cannot assess talent. Whoever is doing his scouting are inept. I can guarantee you the staff at 1010 XL and our fan base are better at assessing talent than he is. And I don't care who the coach is, who the quarterback is. If this guy's at the helm, there's no way we're going to get any better. And I don't know where the romance is between him and Shad Khan, but I definitely think we need to get the hashtag fire Baalke going, and we need a new GM because, you know, I think he's at the core of the issue, and till that gets addressed, we're not going to move forward.
Appreciate the phone call. In the interest of fairness, I will say this about Baalke. I think it's time for him to go. But you look at some of the guys he has drafted. To say that he's not very good at drafting, I agree. He's made some horrific decisions. But Tyson Campbell, Ventrell Miller, certainly. Trayvon looks like he's really coming on, 7.5 sacks. Obviously, we know about Trevor. There's been some good. It hasn't been zeros for Trent Baalke. Now, it hasn't been hundreds of A's or B's or C's. I mean, I might give him like a C-. But I will give credit in certain instances that he has drafted a couple of guys that have turned out to be good football players.
Tank Bigsby?
Yes. Yeah. Not in the last couple of weeks. The luster's coming off of him a little bit, too.
Got banged up a little bit, too, though. But, and I agree with you. I mean, you're never going to hit 100%. There was a stat that I saw on the Internet where – did you see that, Gibby? There was a stat on the Internet where it said how many the teams that were the last seven – the fourth through the seventh round, how many guys are not playing for the team? And one of the biggest number ones was Kansas City Chiefs. But they do a great job with number 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we've been able to do that over the course of the time that I've been looking at the Jaguars. And I'll guarantee you the Cowboys back in the day hit 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll promise you that.
Well, look, I mean, they got 10 draft. That's the thing. You talk about the appeal of this job for whoever's going to come in to run it or coach it next year, maybe all of the above. You got 10 draft picks next year. You're going to have a lot of cap room.
Yep.
You got a 25-year-old, presumable franchise quarterback. There's a lot of things going for this team.
Right.
There's no way they should be 2-8 and have the number 1 pick in the draft if the draft were today. There's no way. It is a failure across the board.
Absolutely.
And there will be people that should be held accountable for this, and that will be held accountable for this. One segment to go. We'll do an injury update, and then we'll kind of put a bow on another disappointing day and get ready for what I imagine will be a very disappointing day next week when the Jaguars travel to Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions. By the way, I mentioned this earlier. No, I'm gonna give some good news. You want some good news on a Sunday night? How about my alma mater, the Fighting UNF Ospreys? You see them? They beat South Carolina on Monday, beat an SEC team, beat Charleston Southern on Thursday, and all they do today is go to Atlanta, Georgia, and beat Georgia Tech. So there you go. If the Gators are in the toilet, and the Seminoles are in the toilet, and the Jaguars are in the toilet, and you need to hold on to hope for anything for your sports world, embrace the Osprey nest at the University of North Florida, as Matthew Driscoll has already beaten South Carolina and Georgia Tech in college basketball. and he hasn't been accused of stalking anybody.
Duval.
Yeah, so that's what we got for you. The UNF Ospreys are going to carry the sports flag for us here in the city of Jacksonville until things turn around. Back to wrap it up, injury update and more next. Fifth quarter, live from Island Girls Cigar Bar in Gate Parkway. We're glad you're with us. 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carlion from MyBookie. The text line was lighting up again this week with our listeners telling us they're cashing in betting with MyBookie. With the best sign-up deposit bonus in the industry available to Florida bettors, you need to get in on the action with promo code 1010XL. We have monster games to tackle this weekend. Mac Jones likely starting for the first time in the teal and black. He's going to be around a 7-point underdog to the Vikings. Similar situation when the Eagles travel to face the Cooper Rush-led Cowboys, where the Cowboys are also 7-point dogs at home. The Lions may be the NFL's best team, taking on C.J. Stroud and the Texans on Sunday Night Football. Stroud is kind of struggling without his receivers. I would go Lions there. Again, MyBookie still has that double deposit bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit up to $1,000. It's the best deposit sign-up bonus in the industry. So sign up now, promo code 1010XL, and make yourself a winner with MyBookie. Don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Help the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl create holiday experiences for local families. The Send a Child to the Game program provides families a free game day experience, including transportation, t-shirts, pregame meal, and game tickets. Let's partner with ViStar Credit Union to send 1,500 kids and families to the game. To help reach this goal where youth can witness history at the 80th Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, make a tax-deductible donation to Gator Bowl charities at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
Bold City AC, heating that rules. Is your AC ready for the holidays? Bold City Heating and Air ensures your AC stays in tip-top shape. We know that a clean AC is a healthy AC. Upgrade yours for just $96 a month and enjoy free duct cleanings with your new system. Plus, ask about our 0% financing options. Bold City AC, we got the crew. Bold City AC. Visit boldcityac.com.
If you're tired of your fence looking like a bad hair day, well, it's time for a fence makeover with Superior Fence and Rail. They'll make your yard the talk of the town with a new fence installed by their expert team.
Your fence is fantastic.
My fence is giving all of my neighbors some serious pick and envy. Thanks, Superior Fence and Rail.
So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your fence installation project today.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com. Free pizza. Lauren Brooks here. Royal Pest Control says thanks for your business. And they're offering a free slice of Tony D's Pizza while supplies last this Friday noon to 2 as we broadcast live at Tony D's, corner of Bay Meadows and 295.
Break in the savings this fall with Universal Roof and Contracting. Enjoy 15% off all roof repairs and replacements, plus a free wind mitigation inspection. With financing options as low as $115 a month, protecting your home has never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP. Offer expires November 30th. Protect your home and your wallet.
License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Injured in an accident that's not your fault? Don't worry, Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan at Von Rowan Law, and over the past 20 years, I have fought to recover millions from my clients throughout Jacksonville. If you've been injured in an accident, have mounting medical bills, can't work, don't worry. Zach's got your back. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve and will be there every step of the way. Go to Zach'sGotYourBack.com to set up your free consultation with me today. Zach'sGotYourBack.com.
Being an athlete means having a healthy desire to do as much as you can with your body for as long as you can. Gatorade has lower sugar, electrolyte-backed hydration options to keep you rehydrated and replenished. Gatorade, for every athlete.
From Gatorade Zero to Gatorade Endurance Formula and Gator Light, there's something for every athlete. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. It's a win-win. Gatorade, official partner of the NFL.
Hey, Jacksonville Koozies, it's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida, Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals, dine in with beer and wine, and delivery at salvatores.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Go with me, baby. Salvatores.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, putting an extra 60 minutes on the clock. The window world of Northeast Florida, fifth quarter at Island Girl Cigar Bar on Gate Parkway. Presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings on 1010XL.
They send 5. They blitz here. Max hangs in and fires it deep downfield. There's a miscommunication, and that ball is going to be intercepted. That ball is intercepted by Cameron Bynum. Mack took a shot at the end zone. Gabe Davis ran it more to the middle of the field. Mack threw it along the far sideline. Bynum tracked it down and intercepted it in the end zone to end the hopes for the Jaguars.
Frank Frangie on the call, Jaguars radio. That's what officially ended it as the Jaguars lose to the Minnesota Vikings today, 12-7. Every week here on the fifth quarter, we give you an injury update. That injury update is brought to you by the law offices of Farah & Farah. Let's do it right now. The Farah & Farah injury update.
The personal injury attorneys of Farah & Farah present this injury update. Farah & Farah, Jacksonville, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Tank Bigsby left the game, Coach. He came back with an ankle. I think most guys, Devin Lloyd left. I believe he came back. I think almost everybody for the Jaguars that left the game today did come back. So if there is any good news whatsoever, is that they didn't really get all that banged up, it appears, in today's loss.
Yeah, they did. I think everybody that was attended to in any way ended up coming back into the game. So that's good.
You got that going for us. All right, let's take a quick look at the scoreboard today as we're beginning to put a wrap on the fifth quarter here from Island Girl Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway. Did you see how Kansas City beat Denver? 16-14 Chiefs. Denver's got a 35-yard field goal to win it. And, of course, Kansas City blocks it. I mean, of course they do. So the Chiefs go to 9-0. Game of the day, Pittsburgh over Washington, 28-27. Boy, Mike Tomlin. Every year, man, Mike Tomlin just figures out a way to get it done. Pittsburgh over the Commanders. New Orleans fires Dennis Allen, and they beat the Atlanta Falcons 5 days later. San Francisco welcomed Christian McCaffrey back. They get a victory over Tampa. Indianapolis lost. Tennessee lost. AFC South is hot garbage. But Jacksonville lost, so, of course, those losses don't matter. The Chicago Bears season ended with the Hail Mary against Washington. They have been awful since that Hail Mary. Did you see the Bears today? In Soldier Field, they lose to New England 19-3.
Yeah, my son, who's working the surf tournament down in Jack's Beach.
Okay, yeah.
He texted me and he said, listen, at least you guys might win one more game. He's a Bears fan. He said, we're the worst team in football.
You could argue the Hail Mary ended their season. They've been awful ever since. Speaking of awful, the Cardinals 31-6 over the New York Jets. Yikes. And Philadelphia. Dallas, Dak Prescott's out for the year. They're going to be going through the motions. McCarthy's probably gone. Philadelphia 34-6. That will not sit well with Jerry Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's what, when the fans start talking about it, that's when the decisions are made.
All right, as we begin to head home, final thoughts from you. The Jaguars are 2-8. That is reality. The reality is, if the draft were right now, they'd have the number one pick. So they are the worst team in the NFL. They lose to Minnesota today 12-7. And their reward for all of that is the Detroit Lions next Sunday, probably the best team in the NFL. With all that being said, Coach Campo, give the folks some hope.
Well, I said this off the air, I think, that I during the primetime show this week, I made a comment that I had one good thing. That was my son Tommy's birthday, was the day that I was on. And then I had two bad things. I lost my dog, which is my favorite person of all time.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and then the other bad thing was that we were playing the Minnesota Vikings, because I thought we were going to get our butt kicked today. Now, we didn't do very well, but we didn't get our butt kicked. It was a close ball game, and at least the fans sitting there had some hope that they were going to win. The NFL is the craziest thing you ever seen, and I'm telling you, New Orleans is a perfect example. I think the Atlanta Falcons are a better team than New Orleans Saints, but they got whipped today right after a coach getting fired. So anything can happen. Do I think it will happen? No, but anything can happen in this league.
Should be a good Sunday night game, Houston and Detroit. I'm going to go grab a cigar from the humidor in here and enjoy myself out here at Island Girl Cigar Bar. Coach, we'll talk to you tomorrow night on Hacker After Dark, and we'll see you next week for the fifth quarter.
Yes, sir.
That is the head coach, Dave Campo. Andrew Gibson's been your on-site engineer. R.J. Saunders has been your producer back at 1010XL World Headquarters. The window world of Northeast Florida, fifth quarter. We've been presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings. Again, thank you to Island Girls Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway. Always appreciate the hospitality out here at Island Girls Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway, when we do our fifth quarter programs out here. Jeff Prosser will be in studio tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., and we will kick off, 16 hours of local programming here on your home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. That includes myself. I'll join you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for a Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Until then, from Island Girls Cigar Bar and Gate Parkway, have a terrific evening, Jacksonville.